my Redeemer, know that He liveth, and that He shall stand. He's gonna stand. He will stand on the earth. Oh, I know that my Redeemer lives. He lives. He lives. Oh yeah, and He shall stand at the latter day upon the earth. Upon the earth. And the worms destroy this body, yet in my flesh shall I see God. Yet in my flesh shall I see God. I know that my Redeemer lives. I know that He lives, and no worms destroy this body. Yet in my flesh shall I see God. Yet in my flesh shall I see God. I shall see God. I know that my Redeemer, I know that He liveth, and that He shall stand. He's gonna stand. He's gonna stand upon the earth. I know that my Redeemer, I know that He lives. He lives. Oh, yes, He does. I know that my Redeemer, I know that He lives. I know that He lives. My Redeemer, I know that He lives. He lives, and I know He lives. Said He lives and is gonna stand upon the earth. Upon the earth. Oh, yes, He is. And I know. Said I believe. You better believe it. Said I believe. I know. I know. I have faith. I trust His word. Yes, I do. I know that He lives. I believe it. I know He knows, and I know that you know that I know He lives. Yes, it does. Oh, yeah.
Yes, yes, and yes. Happy holidays. Hello and welcome. Good to see everyone this evening. I want to welcome you to Tea Time Tuesday. Hope that you are all enjoying your happy holiday seasons and your Merry Christmas, and just really taking time to refresh yourself and renew yourself. We're also mindful of those that may be walking through a tough season and a tough time right now. And so just really excited about each of you being a part of our Tea Time community today. So I just wanted to connect with you this evening. Welcome, welcome, and welcome again. I want to just share with you, if you will, please like and share. For those of you that are out there, please let me know that you're out there. Just hashtag I am Renewal. Please tag someone. Please share with your friends. Let them know that we are on. So we're excited about being part of your evening. This is our fourth Tuesday, of course. And so this is our last tea time for the year. And so being the last tea time for the year, this gives us an opportunity to really just connect as a renewal community. So if you're out there, let me know. I'm going to give you a few moments to come on in. Let's get the likes up. Let's get the shares up. Let's get the engagement up for those that are out there. So I'll just wait a few moments to get started, and excited about you being a part of it this evening. So please go ahead and share, tag your friends, hashtag I am Renewal. A few things I wanted to share with you before we get started this evening is that we do have a YouTube channel. And so I've placed that in the comments for those of you that may not have experienced Tea Time with us. Our focus for Tea Time is about resetting and resting ourselves. And it's really about focusing again on resetting ourselves and building resilience. Resetting ourselves and building resilience. We pause, we take a moment out of our day, a moment out of the hustle and bustle of life. And generally every first, second, and on third Tuesdays at 12 p.m. noon is when we have our tea time. And then our fourth Tuesday is at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as it is this evening. And so just want to welcome everyone to our space this evening. I want to welcome you to our very last tea time of 2023. This has been an awesome and amazing year for our tea timers. And so I just want to encourage you also, for those of you that may be new to the Renewal Center, we are located at 159 Church Street, Northeast, here in the historic district of Concord, North Carolina. And so I just want to encourage you. We are the Center for Prophetic Thought, Voice, Art, and Action. It is about hospitality. We say welcome to you. So when you're here, please, we're closed this week here at the Renewal Center for the holidays, but we're looking forward to the top of our new year. Please come by and visit us, have some tea, have some coffee, connect with us in our art and voice room. Just really recline and just ignite your creativity and your ingenuity. Complimentary Wi-Fi here. We also have a room called our action room where you can plan, focus on ideation, conversation, create a space of innovation for yourself. We also are focused on hospitality. So if you're ever in the area, stop by our cafe, have some tea, have some coffee on us. And then there's also a thought room where you could read, study, and focus on being contemplative. And so we just want to welcome you this evening. So again, just want to share with you, this is our last tea time of the year. So good to have you on. Hello, Arvella. Good to have you on. Thank you so much. Welcome, welcome. Whoever else is out there, just let me know that you're there. Hashtag I am Renewal. Please like, please share with us. How is your holiday season? Give me one word, one positive word that you can just share with us. Just drop one word there in the comments as we're closing out our tea time of the year. So I want to really focus on something. I think there'll be, because I have tea time not only this evening, but also the first Tuesday of the year. So I'll be back to do a follow-up on this subject the first Tuesday of 2024. And so what we would like to do is really concentrate on something I think is really, really critical for you to close out your year. And the focus for today is being in tune with your seasons. Being in tune with your seasons. That's what we're focusing on today, being in tune with your seasons. And so I want to encourage you to think about this as you're closing out your year. What does it really mean to be in tune with your seasons? So if there's someone out there that you says they need to get in on this tea time this evening, please let them know we're on. Before we get started, if you have your tea, please share with us, what is your tea of choice this evening? Share with me if you have coffee this evening. Share with us how you are refreshing and resetting yourselves how you're resting, how you are reflecting. Please make sure you grab your journal, grab your pen, grab your pad, and let's prepare ourselves for a tea time this evening. So please feel free to share with us what is your tea of choice. We have one word that's coming in, restful. Anybody else that's out there? What's your one word, a positive word that you want to share with us concerning where you are this evening? Thank you so much for sharing that. Water. Hopes has water this evening. All right. Anybody else? What's your tea of choice this evening as you're refreshing yourself? That is our director of our digital stewardship and our renewal. And thank you, Hope, for just your time this year. And Carmela, of course, just facilitating the tea time this year. It's been an incredible time of tea time this entire year. And so we just want to close this out with a time of refreshing. So go ahead and position yourself. You know what we do here at the RC, we locate ourselves. So I just want you to just find a space, if you will, a space to focus on centering yourself before we get started in our renewal practices for this evening. All right, so just settle yourself, if you will. And let's take a moment, if you will, to locate ourselves and center ourselves before we start our renewal practices this evening. All right, let's take a few moments, and if you can, just position yourself in a good posture. That's right. Just find a place to position yourself, locate yourself. Take a deep breath. This is good. Just a few more seconds to locate yourself, center yourself. All right, all right. Hopefully that has been a refreshing moment for you. Got a few more comments coming in. Protein shake, okay. Turmeric tea, okay. All right, anybody else? Please share with us your one word and what your tea of choice is this evening. All right, so thank you again for being on. Please like, please share. I just want to encourage you. We do have a YouTube channel. And so in the comments, if you want to subscribe, I encourage you to subscribe and like and turn the notifications on so you can know when we are live during tea time. And so you can be able to stay connected to our digital content. All right. So this evening, I want to focus specifically on being in tune with your seasons, being in tune with your seasons. We go through seasons of life. And as we're wrapping up this particular year, this particular season, we have different seasons or different times in our lives where we're walking through different aspects of where we are. It could be a mental season, a physical season, emotional season, a financial season. We go through different seasons in life, just like in nature, there are natural seasons. Many times we have different seasons in our lives where we need to pause and identify what is happening during that season, whether it's a spring season in your life or a summer season, a fall season, or a winter season. And what I like to do this evening is I like to take a trip through each of these seasons, and we're going to do a renewal practice that is surrounding where are we in terms of being in tune with our season. So we're going to start off this evening with a renewal practice about being in tune with our season. Hope says tranquil. All right, that's her one word, tranquil. Anybody else, if you have one word, please share that with us where you are in your positivity, in your renewal practice this evening. Okay, let's jump right in. First thing, let's talk about spring, the spring season. And I'd like you to chime in with me and connect with me this evening. A spring season specifically will focus on, there's a lot of rain that happens in spring, right? Spring represents where there's growth is supposed to happen. There's life, there's energy, there's an expectation of the new that takes place in the spring season, and prosperity. This is also true of your life as well. And I want you to think about the season of spring. Before we move forward, what else happens in the spring? I'd like you to share in the comments what takes place in the spring season of life. I have a few that are up on the screen. There's rain, there's growth, there's life, there's newness that takes place, there's prosperity that takes place in the spring season. Now, mind you, all of us go through different seasons in our lives. You might be one that's currently in a spring season. And in a spring season, that's the time to act during the spring season of life. And so when we look at the natural seasons, like we're coming into winter, it doesn't feel like it here, but we're coming into the winter season, naturally speaking, but also in terms of life and the rhythm and the cadence of life, there are different seasons and cycles and patterns that we all experience. And so we want to make sure as you close out your year or whatever season you might be in life, that you're in tune with your current season. Think about where you are in your life right now. Are you perhaps in a spring season where there's a lot of rain, there's a lot of growth, there's a lot of newness taking place, or it might be a prosperity that's taking place? So I'd like to hear from you, Tea Timers, this evening. What else happens in the spring season specifically? Because as a renewal practice, we're going to focus on each of these 4 seasons, but we want to identify and provide some descriptors, all right, some adjectives of what's happening during the spring season. Hope says blooming. Thank you for sharing that. There's blooming that takes place in a spring season. Anybody else? What are your thoughts on the spring season specifically? I think when I think about it, spring, I think about new opportunities, or I think about hope. I experience hope. I experience perhaps new beginnings during a spring season. What else takes place, Tea Timers? What are some other things that take place during a spring season? When you think about what's happening in your spring, what happens in the spring season? So that's the first area that we like to focus on. As you're closing out your year, I want you to consider being in tune with each season in your life. So we have the blooming season. That's what Hope said here, which is a spring season. Let's go to the next season in our renewal practice this evening. We talked about spring. So if you're in your journal, go ahead and write that down and start thinking about reflecting about the rain that's happening in your life, or perhaps there's growth that's taking place in your life. Maybe you're experiencing a newness or a prosperous season, but then there's also a summer season that follows that spring. It's crowded. It's a lot of company. It's hot outside, right? The beauty that was coming in the spring now emerges within the summer. Sometimes that's the time for recreation, and we get a little lazy in the summer, right? And so there's that summer season where summer is a time of nourishing. What else takes place in the summer? When you think about the summer that's hot, I think about it being crowded, or it's a lot of people going on. There's vacations, there's crowded places. What else takes place in those areas? All right. Ravella says new beginnings. Perhaps you're referring to spring. Thank you for sharing that. So we've got blooming, we've heard new beginnings. Anyone else, please share with us. When you think about these different seasons in life, what else happens? Hope says in the summer, awaken. All right. You think about awaken during the summer season as well. So I want us to think about this as it relates to the cadence of your life, the cadence to your life right now. You might be one that is experiencing a spring season. You might be experiencing a summer season. We want to be in tune with the seasons that are taking place in our lives. What else do you think about when you consider the summer season? The summer season is a time to nourish, perhaps. It's a time to protect what was planted in the spring, what began to emerge during the spring now is flourishing and it's nourishing, and we got to protect the crops. A farmer will protect the crops when there's a transition from a spring season to a summer season. That particular farmer will protect what happens in the summer. And so it's important that we really continue to nourish and nurture what was taking place in the spring season. We have some more comments coming in. Summer equals keep watering. Yes, thank you for sharing that. We keep watering during the summer. We heard the word awaken. We're now looking at summer. We keep watering. We don't just set it aside and just let the plant dry out. We've got to keep watering. Okay, that takes place in a summer season. What else takes place during the summer? Okay, we started out with spring. We heard some terms concerning the spring season. We heard some terms concerning the summer season. Maybe there's some, I would say, emotional terms or thoughtful terms you want to use about what's taking place in a spring or in a summer season. Please feel free to share those with us this evening as it relates to the season. And again, this evening's tea time renewal practice is about being in tune with your seasons, being in tune with your seasons. We started out with spring. There's rain, there's growth, there's life, there's newness that takes place in the spring. There's prosperity. We shifted to summer season. It's hot, it's crowded, it's busy, there's a lot of company, there's beauty that's emerging. But then that's a time to be lazy as well. All right, we've worked very hard during the spring, and now there's something coming forth during the summer. All right, so again, there's a lot that takes place. Hope says celebration. There's celebration that takes place during the summer. All right, thank you for sharing that. Celebration that takes place during that season. So we covered spring. We covered the summer season. Now let's shift to the next season, which is the season of fall or the autumn season. What happens during fall? That's the season of harvest, where you're gathering things. That's the season of help during the fall season. There's also failures that take place even in fall season. Successes, achievements, failures, gratitude, thankfulness in the fall. That's another season of life where you will go through a fall season. You'll experience different aspects of fall. What else happens during the fall season? That's the time to reap. That's what harvest is. That's the time to accept your results during the fall season, where I sit back and I think, what just took place during my spring season? What happened during my summer season? I'm now going to sit back and I'm going to reflect and consider the outcomes. I'm going to consider the results of all the seeds that I've sown during the previous seasons. I now see the harvest. I see the success. I see the achievements. There are different aspects and outcomes that I see. So that's what takes place in the fall season. In the fall season. All right, Ravella says, reflection on things. So there's a reflection that takes place. Thank you for sharing that. A reflection that takes place, a falling away during the fall. Okay, thank you for sharing it. A falling away during the fall. So we experience various aspects of our lives where we look at the results of the decisions we've made. We look at the season that we've been in. We look at the different decisions that have been made. And again, tea timers, we're focusing specifically on being in tune with your seasons. What does it really mean to be in tune with your season? All right, that is where we are. That's our focus for today, being in tune with that. And I want you to consider that we've looked at again these spring, rain, growth, life, new prosperity. We're looking at the summer. It's hot, it's crowded, it's a lot of company, there's beauty. That's a time for recreation as well. So there are times you'll kind of draw back, all right, and watch the crops begin to emerge. Then there's, of course, the fall, where we look at our results. We look at the results and we accept where we are based upon the seeds we've sown. That's the time to harvest. That's the time for help and gathering and for thankfulness. So now we've got one more season we're going to look at, and then we're going to really dig into a deeper renewal practice about how ways you can apply that between now and the end of this week as you move into this next season in this next year of your life. All right, let's go to the very last season. You know, the last season, the winter season. What takes place during the winter season? Well, it's cold, clearly. That's a season of quiet and stillness. I thought about the term hibernation. What are some other terms that you think about, or what do you feel when you think about the winter? We went through summer, we went through spring, we went through fall. What do you feel? What do you think of? What experiences, what words come to your thoughts, to your mind, to your heart when you think about winter? You think about cold, quiet, still, hibernation. What else takes place in the winter? And again, for those of you, welcome to Tea Time Tuesday. We've had an incredible year. This is our last tea time for the year. So you definitely want to jump into this renewal practice and locate yourself in these areas. All right. Sharon says rest. Okay, so rest takes place during that season of winter. All right, Dr. Deidre, thank you. Grace and peace to you as well. So what takes place concerning the winter season? What words, what terms, what feeling, what emotion, what thoughts? Again, we're working the renewal practice of being in tune with our season. And if you have your journal out, this is your time to maybe perhaps divide your journal into 4 sections. All right, summer season, spring, summer, fall, and then winter. And I want you to write out the terms and the words that we've used during our renewal practice this evening. And then we're going to continue to complete another practice relating to it. Now, here's the key thing about season. Every season has a purpose. So there shouldn't be, if you're in summer, you don't want to look at somebody else if you're in the winter and they're in the summer and everything is sprouting and you're in a winter and there's hibernation. So you want to look at your season and always know that every season has a purpose. You're in that season because there's something you need to emerge in, something you need to gain, something you need to grow in, something, whatever that season represents, there is still a takeaway. There is still an outcome for you, regardless of what the season of life is. It happens in relationships, in friendships. It happens in careers. It happens in our businesses and in our journeys in life. And so when we are in different seasons, different things you may be experiencing during the winter season. All right. Different actions need to be taken. Different decisions perhaps may come out of a winter season as well. So no matter what the current season is, it will change again. No matter what the season is. You may look at it and say, Patrick, well, you don't understand the season I'm experiencing. I may not understand the season you're experiencing. No matter what the season is, it will change again. So even if you're in winter, eventually the spring will eventually come in your life. And so I want you to think about this and reflect. We should not judge our life based upon only the current season that we're in. Sometimes we judge our lives and we say, this is all there is. I'm going to constantly be in a long winter. Things are not going to change. It is what it is. That's how it is. And we should not judge our life based only on the current season in our life. We go off the scene, because the season, the way that it is and what's happening. Friends, I want to encourage you, just like a tree, we experience different seasons of life and we are greatly affected by them. We really do. And so it's important that we're able to look at the seasons that we're in. All right. Preparation. Yes. Preparation takes place in the winter. Anybody else? Please share with me. Please share with us. What also takes place in the winter? We like to get some more comments. So definitely please share with me and engage. Winters are the best time to prepare. Absolutely. And either you're prepared or you're unprepared in the winter. Either you're prepared or you're unprepared. And if you follow the seasons and if you harvested properly in the fall and did what you need to do, you can rest or hibernate in the winter. You can prepare in the winter because you've done all the successful planning in the previous season. All right. See, that winter, you use the winter to prepare for the upcoming season. So this should be a time of reflection and like we like to say here, a renewal practice of locating yourself. Are you locating where you are in your mindset, in your patterns, in your cycles, in your decisions? Some of you may be going through that in your personal life where things look difficult. It's challenging right now. This is your time to say, okay, I got to prepare because this is the time for me to sharpen my tools during the winter season. Sharpen my tools. Go ahead and put that in the comments, everyone. Sharpen. Put the word sharpen in the comments. Sharpen my tools. This is my time to reflect, to plan, to prepare, and to sharpen my tools. You're slowing down, you're hibernating, you're resting, you're preparing, and you should be sharpening your tools. Whatever tools that you possess, whatever capabilities, capacities, competencies, this is your time to sharpen your tools and not just be busy, but preparing your mind, sharpening your tools. Why do you think you need to sharpen your tools during the winter season? I want you to put that in your journal. If you're writing, I want you to sit there and think, really process that question. Why do I need to sharpen my tools? That's an important renewal practice because of how busy we are. That's what we've been doing tea time for so long now, is because we're moving, and we need to take time to reset, to rest, and build that resilience in this type of community. Okay. Sharpen my tools. Go ahead and put that in the comments. Sharpen. Why do you think you need to do that? All right. So in the winter, what else takes place in the winter? I like to go through each of these seasons and give you some renewal practices from each of the seasons. And again, we're focusing on being in tune with your seasons. Being in tune with your seasons. That is our focus. All right. We want to specifically focus on whatever season that we're in. All right. So let's go through the spring season. And again, every season has a purpose. No matter what the current season is, the season's going to change. You're not going to stay constantly in winter. You're not going to stay constantly in the spring or summer. All right. Every season in your life, naturally, as well as every season personally in your life, there will be another season. And we're just like trees. We're going to experience different seasons in our lives. And it's important that we should not judge our life solely based upon just the current season that we're experiencing. That is so important that we're mindful of that. So let's go through spring one more time. Spring, rain, growth, life, newness, prosperity. That's taking place in the spring. I want you to write this down and put this in the chat, put this in also in your journal. That's the time to act, to take a risk, to grab an opportunity. In the spring, that's the time to act, to take a risk, to grab an opportunity, to start your own venture. Because part of opportunity, there's going to be a risk. And if you skip the risk, you're going to skip the opportunity. If you skip the risk, you'll skip the opportunity. So you won't benefit your upcoming seasons if you skip the risk and skip the opportunity. So in spring, that is massive action is taking place in the spring season. Massive actions taking place. And so therefore, when there's massive action and right action, then you'll have massive success in your fall. You'll start seeing things emerge in that summer. And then in that fall, you'll start seeing the results of your decisions from your spring. So again, that's the time to act, to risk, to grab an opportunity. All right. If you're in the spring, make the most of it. Don't hesitate. All right. Work hard. Give your best. Sharpen your saw. Sharpen it out. And not immediately looking for a quick reward, but really focusing on what do I need to do to take a risk and to grab the opportunity. So that's what takes place in spring. Now, when we shift into the summer season, that's the time to nourish and protect. That's when you fertilize your good habits and pull out the weeds of the bad habits during the summer. Again, write this down. Fertilize habits, good habits, pull out the weeds of the bad habits. So in other words, how do you find out what habits that you have that are bad? Well, we know them when they yield the wrong fruit or the wrong results. All we have to do is look at the outcomes, look at the results. Life is based on outcomes, outputs, results. So we see those patterns. We see if it subtracts our life, if it divides our life, if it distracts us. That's how we know that as a habit that is not healthy. It brings division and dysfunction and distraction. It doesn't add peace and calm to our lives and productivity and growth and fruitfulness. So it's important that we're able to look at that. All right, Kimberly says pruning. Yes, thank you for sharing that. So when we are in that particular season, again, we're talking about being in tune with the seasons in our lives. We're now looking at the summer season. This is a time to fertilize your good habits and pull out the weeds of the bad habits. That happens in the summer season. Delays the goal. Interesting. All right. Thank you for sharing that. Summer season, hot, crowded company. But what takes place? We have to care and persist over what's happening. You'll see the results eventually. You will. But during the summer season in life, that is the time to fertilize your good habits. And that is the time to pull out the weeds of bad habits. And you and I know what they are. We know what our bad habits are, don't we? Mm-hmm. Well, at least we should. We should know what habits we possess. And so, again, during the summer season, we look at bad habits and say, okay, I got to start pulling out weeds, and I got to focus on fruit. There might be invaders that try to come in and ruin my progress. I got to be mindful of what's taking place, and I got to protect my progress. And I protect it from externals and internals, both. Okay, we're done with that season of focusing on haters, people hating on you. That's it. No, it's about what we're allowing in our headspace. It's what we're allowing, what doors of access that we allow into our space. That's what makes us productive or counterproductive during summer seasons, where we need to nourish and protect, fertilize the good habits, pull out the weeds of the bad habits. That takes place in summer seasons. What takes place in some renewal practices from the fall season? This is when you begin, again, we talked about it earlier, where you bring the results of your efforts. This is when you celebrate your successes and you also accept your disappointments. You take ownership over your results. We take responsibility over my results. We are accountable for where we are right now during the fall season. It's a time to reap your success, but it's also a time for you to look at it and says, what consistent effort did I have or did not have? Because if I didn't get my desired outcome, I need to go back to the decisions that I made in the spring and in my summer seasons in life. In the fall season, it's about looking at the results of my season and beginning to think, am I taking ownership or responsibility for my results? All right. Kimberly said here, what are we allowing in our garden? Absolutely. All right. What are we allowing? What are we doing? What access are we providing? And we got to look at pulling out the weeds during those summer seasons. So as we look at the fall season, also, this is a time for you to enjoy the harvest from all the hard work that you've done. So that takes place during the fall season. Let's move to the last one. All right. The last one is what? The winter season. Cold, quiet, still, right? During the winter season, that is the time to sharpen your tools. That's what we put in the chat before. That's the time to sharpen your tools. Sharpen your tools. Your next season is dependent on your preparation. Whatever mind preparation you need to do, All right. Each season is contingent and dependent and interdependent and connected to the previous seasons. Cycles, decisions, choices, patterns, mindsets. All right. So let's coach this for a moment through some questions, some Q&A. Now, how are we going to do this? Well, we want to look at seasonal reminders. There are a couple of things that we need to remind ourselves concerning the season, which means don't look at the season where don't always or consistently or solely focus only on your season and think that your entire life is based upon what season you're in right now. No. Make sure there's a couple of seasonal reminders, which means if things get a little too cold in the winter, always think about where you're going in your vision. There's a promise of spring. There's a promise of newness. What's another seasonal reminder? Please share with us. Anybody that's out there, you have a seasonal reminder, something that you remind yourself based upon the season that you're in. What are some of the practices that you can share with us that I think will be helpful? You know, sometimes people experience sadness in the winter, or heartbreak, or loneliness, or they experience disease in winter. That represents what they're experiencing. I want to encourage you, no matter what the current season is, it will change. That season has a purpose, but not to judge your life solely on your current season that you're experiencing. That is important. Kimberly says, you can be in different seasons in different areas in your life. Absolutely, yes, you can. And it's important for us to know what that is. And that's what this renewal practice is all about, is knowing what the season is and being able to embrace seasonal reminders. Seasonal reminders. What are a few other seasonal reminders that you're sharing? Kimberly just shared one with us. Anybody else? Please share with us any potential seasonal reminders that you can share that I think will be very helpful for us to adopt as a renewal practice. I'm going to give a few, but I'd like to hear from you. A few that I wrote down today as I was reflecting just on my seasons and my different highs and lows and ebbs and flows of different seasons and different aspects within my life as well. And I'm sure that you probably experienced that as well. So I'm going to give you a chance to really think through that. Here's our next question. And these questions are here to help us reflect and to consider how to navigate and prepare for the next season. Okay? All right, here we go. Question number 1. What season are you in? What season are you in? Let me give you a chance, for those of you that are watching, to give you a chance to go ahead and answer that. What season are you in? Think about it. I want you to think about what season you're in right now. Let's see what comments coming in here. Here's a couple of seasonal reminders coming in. The show says, my reminder in my current season is this too shall pass. Thank you for sharing that. Charlisa says, finding the comfort or the joy of lessons gained from each season. Growth, expansion. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So Kimberly says she is in summer season. Okay. Michelle says winter season. Anybody else, please feel free to share. Kimberly says, feel like I'm going through some pruning. Okay. That's positioning you for growth. That's positioning you for fresh growth. Good, good. So I want you to think about the next question. If you've answered the question about what season are you in, I want you to answer the question. You can answer it here in the comments or in your journal. Why do you feel you're in this season? Why do you feel you are in this season? These are 4 practices, 4 questions that I want you to consider as you're preparing for or in between, or you're identifying different seasons. Fall, planting for a new harvest. So in the fall, you're collecting harvest. So you might be in a different season if you're planting, or you might be in different types of seasons. All right. Monique says, I'm in my winter season. There are many things taking place under the soil of the season. Thank you for sharing that. These are some very interesting comments that we're getting here. So I want you to think about, everyone, what season are you in? Why do you feel you're in this season? This is for you. This is for you to process. This is for you. All right. Again, new harvest, pruning, winter, summer, and winter again. Many things taking place under the soil. Thank you all for your engagement this evening. Rella says, emerging from winter, entering spring for new growth. Thank you for sharing. So as many of you begin to answer what season you're in, I want you to also think about, why do you feel you're in this season? What do you think is happening right now as a result of you being in this season? And we're taking this time to pause because you're going to find fresh answers, fresh questions, fresh perspectives because of this renewal practice. This is a fascinating, powerful way of being able to close out a year or close out a previous season by looking intentionally, deliberately, and intensely at your current season. What season am I in? And why do I feel that I'm in that season? Now, I'm going to bring up the other questions here in a moment. And I want to give a few other seasonal reminders that I wrote down that I think might be helpful. So if you're ready, I want to share those with you that I think will perhaps be something that you can adopt and perhaps apply to where you are. I want you to think about practicing self-compassion as one, so that you can say, well, why would I practice that? Give yourself grace during transitions. And also practice compassion with others who may not understand the season you're in, because not everybody understands exactly what you're experiencing. So self-compassion, or compassion as a whole, helps you understand that as you navigate different stages in life, you can be patient in the midst of it and give yourself grace during those times of transitions and challenges. So practicing self-compassion, think about how you can improve in those areas instead of expecting perfection out of yourself all the time, if you do that. So practicing some of that self-compassion for yourself, when you do that, you'll have an outflow of compassion for others who may not understand the season that you're experiencing. Okay. Kimberly says, I feel like there's some things I thought I needed, but really didn't to move forward. Powerful. Thank you for sharing that. Many of you are sharing some incredible reflections that I think is helping one another. And again, that's how we build our resilience here during our renewal practices this evening. I also want to share with you a few other seasonal reminders I wrote down about embrace flexibility and adaptability. Embrace flexibility and adaptability. Life is ever changing, right? So when we are embracing flexibility and adaptability, that gives you you allow yourself to adjust. You allow yourself to adjust as needed to help fit your current circumstances. I'm currently finishing a doctoral degree, which means I'm in the role of a student. I'm in the role of becoming an integrated scholar practitioner. Well, what does that mean? That means there's some winter. That means there's some winter that I have to hibernate over some intellectual development. There's terms I'm not familiar with, approaches that I don't know, things that are new to me that are emerging from without and from within. So that's a winter space in my life individually where I'm like, okay, some things aren't moving in some areas, and other it's just I have to stop. I have to focus. It's a winter season for me. And so because of that, when you say yes to one thing, there's no to other things. So I recognize in that particular part of my life, that's a time for me to prepare, because all that I'm learning in this current season is preparing for something else in the future. Now, it's a long journey. It's a long winter season, about 3 years or so. but I also understand that's the best time for me to prepare my mind, to prepare. Perhaps there was some discipline I needed to increase in, because we know what season we're in particular areas. And if we don't know, that's why we're doing this renewal practice to help us. I've gone through sad seasons. I've gone through difficult seasons, which for winter for me, it's like, and in some of the areas, I began to see the fall. I'm enjoying the harvest of other decisions. Some of you have done it. You've had promotions, you've had open doors, you've got new opportunities that have opened up. You've made new purchases, you've saved things, you've released certain clutter in your life. Wonderful seasons of summer and seasons of fall where you're just simply sitting back and you're looking at and observing and celebrating the results, both positive and negative, and then you start looking at decisions for the next season of preparation. All right. So Malik says, the winter season allows time for rest and reflection while I am being rejuvenated for my next season. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. So I shared practice self-compassion, embrace flexibility and adaptability. I also want you to consider another renewal practice as a seasonal reminder is assess your priorities. Assess your priorities. Why do you think you need to do that? Well, when we assess our priorities, we evaluate and reassess based on my current stage. Like I just shared about being a student. Certain things were in my hierarchy of priorities. I had to shift, reprioritize, and so I can understand what's really important and what really matters right now in this present moment so that I can begin to make adjustments. Absolutely. Kimberly just said that. That's right. You can adjust focus. That's the purpose of assessing your priorities. Maybe that's something you need to consider right now. If you're experiencing any imbalance, assess your priorities. If you're having imbalance with your time, with getting things done, with being overwhelmed, with being consumed, or if you're in the winter and you're preparing, that's a great time to look at how am I assessing my priorities. Work-life balance in your current stage, or setting real expectations for yourself, and really think about your commitments. I had to set realistic expectations as well. Made adjustments, knowing good and well I can't say yes to this, because if I say yes to this, I'm saying no to this. So that's when you begin to look at, and you set realistic expectations for yourself. Doesn't mean that you have a limitation mindset. Doesn't mean that you have a fixed mentality. It means that you have an honest assessment about what your capacity is. You know your bandwidth, your personal, emotional, physical, spiritual. You know your bandwidth. Here's something else also. Seek a support ecosystem. Seek out a support network or ecosystem. And so those friends, they're your network of support, mentors. They're like-minded with you. You can get guidance from them and encouragement. You can get challenged from them. They can help you navigate. So a supportive ecosystem can help you when you begin to build that proper network around you. And sometimes, I always like to say this, there are people that either add, multiply, subtract, or divide to our life. We need to really think about that. Okay, how am I adding to someone's life? How am I multiplying their life? But how are these decisions that I'm making perhaps subtracting and dividing me from my growth and being my very best me? Right? So that's the importance of having that ecosystem. You got to be honest with yourself, Kim says, in order to be authentic. Thank you for sharing that. All right. And then lastly, another seasonal reminder. That's what we're on right now. So seasonal reminders. And also we asked the first two questions, which was what season are you in and what do you feel? Why do you feel you're in this season? The third question is, what have you learned about yourself and the people around you during this season? Don't you know when you're in winter, everybody else is going through your winter with you? So what have you learned about yourself? And then I'm going to get back to my last seasonal reminder. What have you learned about yourself and the people around you during this season? What have you learned about yourself and the people around you during this season? All right, let me go to my last seasonal reminder, which is practice presence. Put that in the comments. Practice presence. Practice presence is about fully appreciating every season. Fully appreciating every season that I'm in. Even if it's painful, say, I'm gonna focus on appreciating where I am at this very moment. That's when we practice presence. Practicing presence also is being aware of how I show up, even when I'm not at my best, so that I can continue to evolve and grow and emerge and transform. So practicing presence is so important that we look at, what do I bring in each space? What do I bring into conversations? What do I bring into meetings? What kind of attitude that do I have in me? That's a presence that I'm bringing. So, but it's also staying present in the moment and saying, the season that I'm in, if I'm in winter, I'm going to enjoy this winter. If I'm in fall, I'm going to fully embrace the fall that I'm in right now. Things are dying around me. It is what it is. That's where it is. I'm going to embrace it. I'm going to say thank you in the midst of this difficulty. Or when it's like winter, nothing's happening. It's not a lot of movement because I want it to be spring. I want it to be summer. And that's when you practice presence where you are. You're not looking at other people's seasons and assessing your season based upon somebody else's. Be very mindful of how you do that, because you begin to embrace gratitude during that time and appreciation for where you are. You don't want to constantly yearn for the next stage if you don't learn where you are. Some comments. Practice presence. Thank you for sharing. Yes, practice presence. Come on, if you're out there watching, just type it in if you can, or write it down in your journal. Practice presence. Monique says, I'm going to embrace my winter season and build resilience within. Yes, we build that resilience in the context of that great ecosystem, that network of people that you have around you, help you navigate. Thank you for sharing that, Kim. I hope this is helpful. Tralisa says, finding the fulfillment of each season. Yes, that's exactly what we're talking about. That is what practicing presence is. We do it through self-compassion. I want you to think about it like, am I allowing myself to embrace the fullness of what I'm experiencing right now? Kimberly says, I'm learning more about internal validation. Thank you for sharing that. It's good. I have a lot more I want to share, but I'm going to wait until the beginning of the years, because we're going to come back to this in the next tea time, which will be January 2nd, right after January 1. And one of the things we're going to do is we're going to come back to this very renewal practice, and talk about what have you done in 7 days? How have you navigated 7 days of this? And it'll be 12 noon. So if you can put that on your calendar, next Tuesday, January 2nd, 12 p.m. noon, we're going to be back in this very space, focusing on being in tune with your season. We're doing this back to back so we can really concentrate on looking at your own personal evolution. It's important that we're able to do that and look at that and see yourself renew. All right, I'm going to wrap up now. A couple of things I want you to please place in the comments. What are some of your takeaways? Please share with us your key learns of what you received today. What's new for you? What's insightful for you? What was a takeaway or something perhaps that you're going to consider differently in our renewal practice today? Let me bring up our last question. What are you expecting in future seasons? That's another question. So write these down and spend some time the next 7 days on these 4 questions. What season are you in? Why do you feel you're in this season? What have you learned about yourself and the people around you during the season? And what are you expecting in future seasons? That's been the focus today. Being what? In tune with your seasons. Being in tune with your seasons. So I want to thank everyone for participating this evening. Please share in the comments what are some of your takeaways. Please feel free to write them down also in your journal. And I'd like to hear from you and let us know. A couple of things I want to share with you before we're finished. I'm going to bring up a few of our announcements. So please stay with me. And we would definitely want to hear more from everyone concerning some of the things you've grown in and developed in. I also want to say this is our Giving Tuesday. And so here at the Renewal Center, we are a nonprofit organization here in North Carolina, Concord, North Carolina. And so that we are able to do what we do as a result of the donations from those that are partners with us. So I want to encourage you during this giving season to really consider supporting the Renewal Center and becoming a partner with us here at the RC. And here are the various ways that you can give. We have digital giving. So I want to first encourage you to download the mobile app. We have an incredible mobile app. If you just go to your app store, you type in the Renewal Center, and you should see our logo, RC, pop up. And that's one way that you can also financially donate and support the Renewal Center. You can go to our website. If you're on your laptop right now, please feel free to go to our website, the renewalcenters.com/give. If you can use your mobile phone, and if you type in 888-364-4483 and you text Renewal Center to that number, you can actually get a secure giving as well. CashApp is Cash Renewal Center. If you're a CashApp user, Cash Renewal Center. Then PayPal and Zelle are also the same, the Renewal Center 2020 at gmail.com. And then our Venmo is at Renewal Center. Also, we do take check and money orders. If you want to mail it in, our P.O. Box is 1381 Concord, North Carolina, 28026. I want to give you an opportunity to support the RC in that way as well. So as you're watching, we're going to come back again next Tuesday, but I want to bring up our announcements for the week. So just hold on one moment and let me bring that up. And then I'd like to hear from you. What are your takeaways? What have you gleaned today? What have you learned today from the renewal practices that we've had? So a few announcements in our regular programming here at the RC. I want to share that with you. Of course, we have Tea Time Tuesday, which you're experiencing the fourth Tuesday, 7 p.m. We'll see you next week at 12 p.m. noon Eastern Standard Time. We also have our digital discipleship. Each Sunday, we fellowship and connect at 10 a.m. in our Zoom. Please connect with us in our different sites to register for that Zoom link. Each Wednesday, we have our Reforming Culture. We're currently teaching on the mind of Christ. That's Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. Also, our fifth Wednesdays, we have our 7:30 prayers every fifth Wednesday. So I want to encourage you to be a part of that. We're looking forward to that on January 31st. Also, please be encouraged. During this season, we have grief recovery. We have certified grief recovery specialists on our team. If you have any needs in the area of grief navigation, please feel free to reach out to us and connect with us. And of course, again, we do have our Tea Time, our mobile app as well. And also, we also have what we call our Women at the Well series, which is every first Saturday. It is a hybrid, so it's online and it's also in person here. And I think the next time is January the 6th. So looking forward to you being a part of that as well. So again, I want to thank everybody for coming on and connecting with us this evening. Here are our announcements here at the RC, and of course, the ways that you can support the Renewal Center. So before we close out, just want to hear from you. What are some of your takeaways from our renewal practices this evening? Would love to hear from you. All right. Trelisa says, continue to practice the presence of each season I may find myself and embrace with grace. Thank you for sharing. All right. Anybody else? Something that you've gleaned this evening concerning the renewal practices that we've shared. Would love to hear from you and get your perspective and your insights concerning the season that you might be in your life that you can share with the rest of us. We'd love to hear from you. And again, I want to thank everybody for being a part of our renewal practices today. I hope that it's been a strength. I do want to say I hope that you've enjoyed every tea time from our entire tea time community. Carmela has, she's facilitated, Hope has facilitated. We've been able to share many renewal practices that I really hope has been beneficial to you. I want to encourage you, two things I want you to do. Well, three. One, I'd like you to support us, considering being a partner with the Renewal Center, and pray for us and partner with us in ways of giving and supporting us. Two, I'd like you to download the mobile app. Download the mobile app, go to our website, take a look at our blog team. We have three bloggers on our team: Monique Jackson, who's actually going to be leading our new children's ministry as we begin to get those up and developing. The vision's coming. I want to encourage you to stay tuned with the things we're going to be doing for children. Also, Hope T. Melton, as well as Carmela Head, who also facilitate Tea Time with me. They're our blog team. Please go in, look at our blog, download the mobile app so you can hear all of our digital content from our Reforming Culture and for our New You Digital Discipleship. It will really strengthen your life with other renewal content. So I want to encourage you to do that. And I think that's three, right? Yeah. So I think I share what I want you to do. If you can, partner with me on those areas. Okay. So thank you again for connecting with us this evening. And let's see what else, any other comments that are coming in. Any other comments? Okay. Embrace and appreciate each season. They are all necessary. The importance of evaluating what season you're in life. All right. Thankful. Thank you. Be thankful in every season. All right. Anybody else, please feel free. And again, I want to thank everyone for being a part. My last announcement is one of our team members and directors, Hope T. Melton. She runs Hope Diamonds Ministries. She has a class called Prophetic Foundations Class, Building and Understanding. I was a part of this course last year. What's incredible about this course is that you're learning more than just what it is to be a person in the prophetic, but you're really learning about hearing and acting out what you hear from God through the Word of God, through a relationship with Holy Spirit, understanding that the prophetic is more about the posture of your heart, the intention of your heart, the motive of your heart, and having that in alignment with God. And that Prophetic Foundations, please go to her site, reach out to Hope. The class begins on January 8th, so there's still time. Registration is still open. It is Monday evening after you've settled, and you log in at 8 p.m. to 9:30. Once you register, you'll get all the links. And I've been invited as a guest facilitator, so I'm so grateful to be able to serve on this faculty for these classes. And so Hope is the lead facilitator. Really looking forward to us serving you in this way, teaching on prophetic foundations, building and understanding your understanding of prophetic. And so that's what I've been invited to do. And so please go to her site. Please connect with her on her page. You can inbox her as well and get the information you need in order for you to register so you can really develop that part of who you are. And so I'm excited about this. So grateful for this class that's coming up. I'm grateful for those of you that have been a part of Tea Time this entire year. I'm so grateful to serve this community. We use the word glocal. You know, the word glocal, GLOCAL, and that stands for global and local. Global and local. And what we want to do is reach people on a global level, but also at a local level. And so that's what we've done here through all of our various programming, renewal practices, and our digital content for my entire team. And yes, Scarlett, it'll be good to see you again. Stop on by sometime soon. We're excited about that as well. So yes, developing is everything. Yes, it is. And so I'm just grateful for all of you tuning in. Please make sure that you download the mobile app, and I look forward to connecting with you one more time. And as we close out for our renewal practices, let's just do one last center yourself, locate yourself exercise, and then we'll be done for the evening. And again, thank you so much for being a part of our Tea Time community. See you next Tuesday, January 2nd, 12 p.m. Please follow us on our social media, Instagram, our YouTube channel, and also our Facebook page, our mobile app, and of course, our website. So we look forward to seeing you again soon. Please stay tuned for all of our renewal practices and all of our programming. Take care, and I am Renewal.